Good morning. So I just got back from a 3 or 4 day deer hunt. Went out there with some buddies on some public land. We backpacked way back in there so we wouldn't be bothered. So we could, we hunted that spot before. There's a lot of game back there. And of course, when you're carrying everything, you're carrying your food and your water for the next 3 or 4 days and all that kind of stuff. I'll try to add some pictures in here just so y'all can see what we had going on. Kind of what we're doing. You don't carry a stool or a chair with you, basically. So I found a couple of spots that I wanted to hunt that were prime locations on top of ridges and hunting saddles and stuff. But when I sat down, I couldn't see the whole thing. I actually had a buck walk through. It was either Friday morning or Saturday morning, and all I could see was antlers and tail because of the way the hill was. There was just a little lip right there, and when I'm sitting on the ground, my back against a tree, uh, I could just see, that's all I could see from as he walked past, and he was 40 or 50 yards. It would have been a great shot. So I was sitting on that ridge and I was trying to think of, yeah, I could be elaborate and make a full recliner and do all that. But, being on public land, you're hunting off of, you're looking for deadwood to use because based on where you're at, you can't just go cutting everything, right? But I noticed around me was a bunch of trees that were close together. And I was like, okay, I could probably work with that. And so I got these two cedar trees right here behind me. Obviously, these aren't the trees I used. We're back here on my house, but I found two trees that were close together, and there was like 4 or 5 different sets of these. And I'm like, I can make this work. I can do something with this. And so I just wanted to show y'all what I came up with. I'm sure I'm not the first person to come up with it, right? But I was just sitting there trying to problem solve, and I came up with something, and I'm just going to share that with y'all. So you only need a couple things for this. It's really simple, right? I had a little throwing it around here, a little folding saw. Of course, I had another one with me as well because we were processing firewood, that kind of stuff. I found a stick that's plenty wide enough. There's 3 or 4 fingers wide. Depending on the length of how far your trees are apart, whatever. But I found this dead stick just here on the property. I'm going to use it already, something like that. And then, of course, you need some 550 cord. And of course, most guys have this in their packs. Most people have that in their packs, right? And I'm gonna show y'all some knots that we use, how we put it to the tree so we weren't harming the tree, and we could take it and go with us, and it's real quick and simple.
Okay, so like I said, we're gonna need some 550 cord for this. I cut just a 6-foot cord here. You could always cut this 8 or 10 foot, depending on how much string you had, right? That way you could always shorten it up on the tree later. But I was limited on what we had. I was using some other strings for ridge lines and for clotheslines and stuff like that. But I always had some 6-foot pieces here, and so that's what I just used. And all we're going to do is tie a fisherman's loop. We're just going to tie a fisherman's knot to try to make this a like a soft shackle of sorts. So you just take your index finger, you're going to wrap around once. Okay, if you can see that, take this tail back in here, and all we're doing is making a half hitch, a pretzel knot, right? We're gonna pull that down and then just rotate the knot. Now we're working with this other side. Okay, it's the same thing. Hold it, wrap it around one time, and you're making that half hitch again. Once you have that half hitch, there, just cinch it down, and then this comes together. And when you have that barrel look, that's how you know it's right. That's how the front will look. That's how the back will look. Okay. Before I cinch that down too much, we'll do that one more time, just so you can see what's happening. Okay. So we have our string. You're gonna cross them over. Take your index finger. Make sure you have enough of your working in here. Wrap around your finger one time. Come back through, and it should look like a pretzel. You're making that half hitch. Cinch that down, okay? Now we're just going to rotate the knot around. Make sure we have plenty of slack to work with here. Hold your finger, holding both strings. Wrap around your index finger one time. Come back through. And now we're back at that half hitch, that pretzel knot again. Cinch that down. And we should just push all this down. We know it's right, and now I can pull this, and that's stuck together. That's a fixed loop in that rope that we can work with. All right, so we're here at our trees. Here's our cedar trees. Here's our pole that's going to end up being our chair, right? If we had time or our axe, we could probably flatten this off and make this a lot more comfortable just for, you know, sitting long hours. But we have two of our fisherman knots here, and we have those soft shackles that we just made. You're going to come up to your first tree, just wrap around, just going to girth hitch this down, pretty much making like a choker hitch on this. So now see, I can pull against that and it's not going to come down. Same thing on the next tree. I'm gonna move my stick out of the way here. All right, come over here, wrap around, girth hitch it back down here. I might need to go underneath that branch. And choker hitch that back down. All right, that way it's biting into the tree and we're good. Now we're just gonna take our pole right here. Now if we can, depending on your slack, depending on your tree, again, if you cut your string a little longer, you're going to make another girth hitch here. I don't like that knot being in the center. We're going to shift some stuff around here. Yeah, I like that better. Okay. We're going to do another girth hitch right here. Right? And we're going to work this on here. That way it's biting down on the tree and it's biting down on our seat. Now we're gonna come back over here on the next tree, do the same thing. You see these trees are kind of far apart, but we're gonna make it work. That's why we're gonna do this extra. We're gonna take this boot, girth hitch it back down. We'll make a girth hitch. See that? And then we're gonna work this back down on the stick. Sensing it down. I'm gonna push down, make sure it's tight. And we'll step back, see if it looks pretty level to me. I think we can make that work.
All right, so now you see we have them up here. I can push down on this. It's not going anywhere. Our choker hitch, our shackles are biting in well. And now you can just sit down. And I can adjust this how I want to. I'm 230 pounds. It feels solid. And of course, you know, after sitting here for hours on end, it'll probably get a little uncomfortable. But I can always rotate this side, lean against this tree. I'm looking down where I'm wanting to hunt. I can rotate this way just so I can be more comfortable over time. But now I have the option of being more elevated just so I can see. And we started using this around our camp as well. Like I had another stick. I just took my shackles with me. I had them made, and when I got tired of sitting on rocks and stuff like that, wanted to sit up a little higher, you can just use this here. It worked out really well. All right, just like I said, it was a quick video. I just wanted to share that with y'all. Maybe next time you're out in the woods, you can, you know, just throw some 550 cord in your pocket. You'll have an option for sitting somewhere. I know it's like finding two trees that are perfect together. That'll be the hardest part, just like finding the perfect shelter site, right? But that's something you can do and just add to your toolbox, and maybe it'll help you hunt better, be more comfortable at camp, whatever you want to do down the road. Thanks.